As a result, the trial went on without him. It was just Manson and these girls. He had a whole separate trial later on.
Vincent Bugliosi remembers the first time he saw Charles Manson.
He was much shorter than I had thought. He was only 5 feet 2 inches tall, somewhat hunchbacked, kind of not fragile looking, but certainly thin, kind of scraggly, unkempt. Not a very imposing figure, but I realized it would be a big mistake to underestimate him.
To ensure convictions, Bugliosi makes a deal with Linda Kasabian. Immunity for her testimony against Manson and the others.
She was a good witness for the simple reason that she did not physically participate in these murders.
When the trial starts in 1970, media interest is at an all-time high.
Cameras were not allowed in court. The world press was there, however. You had to pass through a metal detector to get into the courtroom. The headlines were blazing headlines, front page headlines.
Assistant prosecutor Stephen Kay remembers how Manson tried to intimidate everyone in the courtroom.
Manson thought that if he could outstare you, that he controlled your soul. And so he would play staring games with different people. When I first got in there, you know, he tried to outstare me, but he blinked first and he was so mad.
Presiding over the trial, Judge Charles Older. The former military man has little patience for Manson's behavior.
Any of the defendants, guns, knives, ropes. Well, of course, there are multiple defendants and there are multiple.
It was more like a carnival. Every day something different happened. You know, one day Manson would come in and put an X on his forehead. The next day the girls would come in and they had X's cut into their forehead.
Later tried to convert the X's into swastikas. They sang and danced in the courtroom. The mood of the trial was one of just chaos.
Since he was not present during any of the slayings, the prosecution needs to establish that Manson was the leader of a conspiracy in order to convict him of murder.
The prosecution called his followers, the three women, automatons, robots.
A series of outlandish courtroom outbursts culminates when Manson tries to attack Judge Older.
Manson jumped over the counsel table and with a pencil in hand was going to try and stab Judge Older, and a young bailiff tackled him.
They dragged him from the court and he said to the judge, in the name of Christian justice, someone should chop off your head.
Even with constant distractions, the prosecution makes their case, and Manson's twisted idea of helter-skelter begins to emerge.
Helter-skelter was a title of a Beatles song, and it was a term used by Manson to describe what he thought was going to be the last, final, destructive war on the face of this earth between blacks and whites. He introduced it into the family. He talked about it all the time. And when the words helter-skelter were found printed in blood, I argued to the jury that that was tantamount to Manson's fingerprints being found at the murder scene.
Ultimately, the prosecution gets the verdict they seek. Manson and the three women are convicted of multiple counts of murder.
He was the key. Without him, it would not have happened. But why these people were willing to kill for him, that's a hard question to answer.
Today, all four, as well as Tex Watson, who was convicted separately, remain in California state prisons and have been repeatedly denied parole.
All of the defendants, including Manson, really don't have any true remorse for these murders. I think that they feel very sorry that they got caught.
The addresses at the murder sites have been altered to keep the curious away. The La Bianca house on Waverly Drive is now protected by a wall and security gate. The Tate house on Cielo Drive has since been torn down and replaced. The Tate La Bianca murders changed people's ideas about home security and introduced the world to one of its most notorious personifications of evil. 3 Hollywood stories scripted by obsession. deadly mission. The frightened daughter of a glamour queen
Top 6 videos of the week, so stick around.